What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it. We are back for another edition of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by the Red and Gray Gridiron Group and Underground Sports Philadelphia, live from the Double Eagle Saloon and Deck Bar. Kyle Bennett, Coach Guzman, following a 53-0 win. First win for you as a head coach, first win of the season for the Fighting Clan. Congratulations on the first dub. Talk me through it. What was the experience like, when the clock finally hit zero? You guys are dominating all game, but, it finally sets in, first win under your belt.
It was surreal feeling. I was ecstatic. I even told the reporter, I don't even know how to act right now. It was really nice to just see the kids, the smiles on their faces, and that, they can get it done, man. They can get it done. They have all the tools they need. They just got to work together as one, and we can get a lot of things done this year.
The Gittone Stadium environment, first points of the game happen. Take me through, just the energy on the sideline too, knowing that you guys were able to run down the field, put points on the board early, and just kind of never look back.
This was special in that, the way that the kids reacted to the outside noise, if you will, that white noise that they were hearing from the other team. It was right on point. I mean, they just stayed right there in the pocket. They didn't get too high. They didn't get too low, and they executed. I mean, as you saw on every phase. I mean, we were hitting on every single phase, whether it was offense, defense, special teams. I can't say enough about our staff and our kids. They're just they're going and getting it, and people are going to open up their eyes. I'm telling you.
Let's start with special teams. Greif hits a 35-yard field goal in this game. You guys get a safety in this game. Talk to me about just the progression from last week to this week. Last week we talked about how it seemed like every single punt, the special teams unit was getting in the face of the opposing punter. They finally get to do that in this game, come up with the recovery, the balance, and body control to stay in bounds to get that safety. Just talk about the progression from last week to this week with the special teams unit.
Coach Marcelino's doing an excellent job with them kids. He has them poised and ready on all facets of special teams. He pours his heart and soul into that, and you see it. I mean, he's an energetic guy.
He's fired up after that
he's
safety.
High energy. I love the kid. He's doing a great job for us. So he's going to continue to do great things for us, and he's got some tricks up his sleeve for the year. So it's nice.
And
nice.
Just talk about how much of an advantage that is too in any facet of any level of football, whether it's high school, college, NFL, to have that game-breaking ability on your special teams unit can completely flip a game on its head.
I mean, field position is key, right? A lot of people don't understand that. And if you have the guys to put you in great field position, hence Colin Greif, I mean, you're in a great situation in most of the game.
Colin Greif 2 for 2 on the season, kicking field goals now, back-to-back games with a field goal. We've talked about it. We talked about it first episode of this show. We talked about it last week. We'll talk about it now. How much of a weapon is he in games, not only in the field position game with kicking and punting, but you're comfortable sending him out there to kick a 35-yard field goal like he did last night?
Absolutely comfortable. I have no problem. The kids block for him. They've all bought into the family aspect. They're there for each other, and they look each other out. I already know what type of work this young man puts into his craft. I have zero problem going ahead and pulling the trigger with Colin Greif.
Coach Hendricks and Coach Smith can kind of clap up on this one now, back-to-back years where this coaching staff and this team have shut out Bridgeton. Last year, 28-0 win. This year, 53-0. Talk about the defense last night in a game that, when it does get high scoring like that on one end, things can kind of slip away a little bit. You may lose a block here or there. They never quit. They never gave up. They held in, pitched a shutout in this one. Talk about how impressive that is, because when a game does get high scoring and lopsided like that, you tend to give up a score here or there. It happens with fatigue. It happens, with multiple players coming in for starters, stuff like that. But talk about being able to pitch a shutout in the way that this defense did.
The kids, again, all week we stressed attention to detail. Attention to detail. Coach Marcelino went out there and I mean, he paid attention to the details. He went ahead, he executed on that phase of the game with the kids, and I mean, it showed. It showed in every aspect of special teams all game long, whether it was the kickoff, the punt, you name it. Our kids were executing, and it was really nice to see them come together again. And again, I keep telling, we're just scratching the surface. That's the really nice part of what our kids are displaying. They're just scratching the surface, and we're going to go ahead and keep moving this thing as the season progresses.
And the defense, goes out there. They pitch the shutout, but they add 2 more turnovers to their resume this season. They get another interception in this one with Borte. Throws it right into his hands. It's like, oh, look, it's mine.
I'll take it.
And then you get another sack. You get the fumble recovery. This defense is nasty. They are mean. And they're going to make you remember it. They don't hold back. There's hard hits, and they're clean hits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key.
What I could tell you about this defense, they're going and getting it on all facets, whether it's causing a turnover, getting an interception, or just outright outplaying you at the line of scrimmage. I mean, Coach Smith has them ready at all times.
How much invigoration does Coach Smith have, do you think, from the year off last year, now coming back into the fold? Does it feel like he has a new sense of just like ownership of this defense?
Let me put it to you this way. He's pumped up, and then it's like, you know what I'm going to say? This is like Batman and Robin. I'm gonna put it to you. That's like you got Batman over there on the defensive helm with Smith. You got Robin, Mr. Shelton, high energy. I mean, woo, he can light up a room with that energy. So the kids feed off of that, and it's just really nice to see once they can join, forget it. That energy just envelopes the kids, and then the kids display it on the field.
And, we touched on it last week too, but talk about some of these alumni coaches that are on the younger side, have been in the program, were on that field not too long ago, and just how they've progressed now through 2 games and, through 2 weeks of practice and preparation. How have they, gotten better and better as the weeks have gone on from, this summer to last week and now this game?
What I see the most of now, they've settled in. They've really found a comfortable spot where they can really start to connect with the kids and really start to, get the most out of each kid's individual skill set. And that's what they're working off of. So I'm very proud of our coaching staff overall. I mean, we're just, again, taking advantage of what our kids are good at. We're not necessarily molding a offense or defense the way we want it. We're molding it to their strengths. So, kudos to my staff. I love my staff. I love my kids, and again, we're looking for great things come this week as well.
And I think that showed on the offensive side of things, but before we touch on the offense, we are live here at the Double Eagle. Shout out to Robbie Bono for having us every single week. We're here on a Saturday, but every week from here on out, it will be Monday nights. That's where you can watch Guzman's Gridiron live, and if you can't make it live, it'll be available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia on your podcast app of choice or youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Show goes live every Wednesday night around 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you can't make it out, which we highly recommend you do, come out, support a local business that's supporting our show as well. And Robbie Bono is a big supporter of the program as well.
Absolutely. We can't say enough about Robbie Bono.
So big thank you to the Double Eagle and to Robbie Bono. But let's talk about the offense.
Let's talk about that. I mean, first of all, kudos to that O-line. I mean, kudos to the O-line. They did tremendous. Again, I tell you, Coach Chris Gilbert has done a phenomenal job with that line through and through. They're firing on all cylinders right now. It's really nice to see. Again, I know that all facets of the game, we got to clean up some minor detail things, but they are looking really nice. And again, tribute to our O-line coach and the O-line overall, because they had a heck of a game.
Yeah, I mean, you had a new piece in there this week, too. Just talk about that decision, what you saw from Phoebus out there for the first time on the O-line, and how, that mix can also be very helpful to you guys. We'll talk about other positions, but getting film for your own personal use to see how guys play and fit in with other players, how valuable is that to your coaching staff?
That's very valuable. We're creating depth on a lot of facets of our game. Jose Phoebus came in there. I mean, you want to talk about coachable kid. He's going to do what you ask. He's going to give you 150%. He went ahead and filled in for Sode with no problem for Coach Gilbert. He's, yes sir, no sir. And you saw that hard work and determination, it paid off because he wasn't off the field much. Special teams, offense, defense. He was going and getting it. So very proud of Jose Phoebus.
The O-line contributed to tons and tons of running back scores. Let's start with Mr. Thunder, as we called him last week. I called him Thor up in the booth.
It's unbelievable.
Our Allen Associates player of the game, Charles Clark, who didn't even get a full half in before getting injured, scores 3 touchdowns in this game to kind of kickstart the evening of the running back, if you will. Talk to me about Charles's performance last night in a limited amount of time, and just the way he is hitting his spots, the way his vision has improved since you first saw him as a freshman in that little grouping of freshmen that got called up to varsity that year a couple years ago. Charles looks like a completely different player.
He is, again, I say it and keep saying it, special, dynamic kid. Ever since I've seen him play, that's him. He has that it's just a natural strength within, I call it man strength. You just got it. This kid just has it, and he keeps moving forward on every one of his runs. I mean, you saw that not only the vision, the awareness, the outright monster in him to just run people over or finesse you if he has to. However you want it, this kid, again, dynamic, special. Watch out for this kid because he's going to be dynamite as the years go on.
And the way that he is running so far this year as opposed to years past, where it felt like he was always trying to get to around the outside.
Right.
He was never trying to go between the tackles. This year, he's finding the lanes between the tackles, bullying his way through, and he's ripping off 20, 30 full, run touchdowns just because he's not afraid to hit the hole now.
Listen, Coach Teamer and Coach T.O. are doing a phenomenal job with our running back room. They're fine-tuning our running backs' personal skills. Everyone has a gift, and they're figuring out each one of these running backs' gifts, and they're sure as heck displaying them every week now.
And I think one of the things that Rich and I both noticed last night in the booth is these running backs don't stop moving their feet. Mm-hmm. And that's something that has completely changed, especially with Charles, who we saw a bunch last year, where, he got hit, he kind of just stopped in his tracks. This year, he keeps his feet moving, and he's getting an extra 3, 4, 5 yards, or breaking the tackle and able to extend the play even further. Mm-hmm. Talk about that aspect of, because it's every running back doing that. We saw that last night with 4 of them being able to do it. Talk about that portion of the coaching tandem that you have, your own thunder and lightning on the coaching staff for the running backs. The way that they are teaching these kids to just not stop moving, I think is so pivotal.
It is very pivotal. I'll tell you what, these 2 gentlemen have these guys working, especially during Indy. Those Indy drills that they have set up for this running back room are specifically geared towards getting those extra yards, if you will, making sure that they go ahead and cover up the ball with 2 hands in traffic, extending their, play by going ahead and keeping their eyes up, pad level low. So everything's centered and geared on fundamentals and basics all throughout their Indy drills. So kudos to my coaching staff on the running back side also. Great job.
Charles
Excellent.
Did our Allen Associates post-game interview yesterday and gave tons of credit to the offensive line as well. Absolutely. For him being able to, break through. Mm-hmm. Josh Cephas did the same thing, completely different style of running back, was able to hit his spots, used his speed, tripped his way into the end zone the first time, scores 2 touchdowns, had near 100 yards as well, almost 200-yard rushers on this team last night. That thunder and lightning really showed between those 2.
Josh Cephas, again, he's your shifty player, man. He's the Madden stick. He's the guy that you can literally see, like, making jump cuts that are just like – I know you saw that jump cut at the end of the end zone.
We were blown away.
I mean, to see that safety coming that quick and then just to give that little jump cut to the outside and, again, get into that end zone. I mean, this kid is dynamic and explosive. He will run the ball up the gut. And he did take some shots, right? We saw him take some shots, but what did he do?
Got right back up.
Right back up. So, again, kudos to him, his toughness, his grit, and he's going to have a dynamic season too.
And just
watch out.
For him to go last year as kind of a gadget type of player reminded us of Tavon Austin almost, where you were using him in a bunch of different aspects. For him to just not be afraid to hit the hole now at his size. For anybody that doesn't know, Josh Stevens is 5'5", on a good day maybe. And he's not afraid to hit those inside runs, bounce off of tackles. He got that nice little welcome to the league hit from Pritchett last night.
It's okay.
And bounced right back up.
Right up. I mean, you got to give him kudos for that. I mean, he's a tough player. He's not just going to go down on a tough hit like that. He's going to get right back up, and he's going to be right back on the field immediately.
Now we have thunder and lightning. Nas came in last night. Is he the Rain Man? I said we have to ask meteorologist, podcaster, head coach Jose Guzman what Nas's weather of choice is going to be. But talk about his involvement last night and what he's going to bring to the table moving forward in this running back room.
I'll tell you what, Nasir Lewis, he's a little bull. I mean, he's a bull in the china shop. I mean, when he gets the ball rolling, he's going downhill. So he's a nice complement also in that running back room to Charles' style. See? So Charles has his way. He's going right up the gut. He's an in between the tackles. But, as you saw, he can break it to the outside. Cephas, he's going to run right at you too, but he's a little more elusive in his quickness to make you elude that tackle, right? And then you have Nasir right back to a bull in the china shop coming right downhill, okay, looking for work. So very proud of that kid. Ball security has gotten a lot better, and he knows it. So he's building that confidence, and watch out for that boy. He's special also.
And Nas wasn't the only running back to join in with Thunder and Lightning scoring last night.
It was a party.
The Fresh Prince came through and got a touchdown of his own as well. I mean, you guys just have a stable of running backs.
And I love them, but I'm going to say it on air. Don't do the spin-the-roo. Don't do the spin-the-roo no more. Don't get
That's what sends
laundry.
You to Bel Air.
Please, yeah, that's what sends you back. No, but love that kid. He had a day yesterday, man. Offense, defense. He just plays ball. And what's special about this group of guys on this team, they're selfless. They just want to win. That's it. They just want to get that W and keep rolling with it. So kudos to my kids, man. Selfless kids, no egos. They're willing to do what it takes to get a win.
And talk about Prince playing both sides of the ball. Last year came in as a transfer, played that first game at running back, and then Charles comes back, and, Prince kind of the complimentary back there. Talk about his, transfer over to the defensive side of the ball and what you've seen from him playing in that defensive back.
What I could tell you is he's kind of like a hybrid safety linebacker. And what I could tell you is the kid he has a nose for the ball. He has a nose for the ball.
As proven last night.
150%. Finds his target, takes it down. I mean, there's no fear, and he's not that big of a kid. You see him? Maybe he's pushing 5'7", maybe.
5'9" with cleats.
Maybe, right? But what he's going to give you is all his heart in every single play. And he's another one that hardly gets off the field. I mean, again, big stress that I put on our program was we're going to have Tank in that fourth, and if we need it in overtime, we're going to have plenty of gas. And it's showing every game, Kyle.
Last night, new quarterback under center. Talk about his performance, his first, crack at the varsity roster, and then hitting a pass quarterback-to-quarterback connection. One of his two completions last night goes to Gallo for a big play that extends the drive. Talk about his poise, commanding the huddle and being able to, turn the gas on when the lights shine bright.
Listen, we go from McMahon, right, like I told you at the beginning, to Jake the Snake, man. So this kid is he wants to go and get it, man. Just like Gallo, they're go-getters. He offers a little difference, as you saw yesterday in dynamics, but the fluidity between him and Gallo right from the beginning. We saw it on the practice field, and then, Gavin is a type of kid that's the word is selfless. No problem, coach. Hey, we're going to make this switch. We'll see how it goes. I explained to him, Coach, no problem. But the funny part was he goes, "But I'm going to be on the field, right, Coach?" I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you going to be on the field? You're probably not going to leave the field." And as you saw, offense and defense, yeah, we're going to utilize, again, our kids' strengths to, help the team win in any way we can.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a Swiss Army knife that Gavin Gallo is, from last year playing center to then going and playing tight end and linebacker to quarterback game one this year, back to tight end, back to defense. Like, he's an ever-moving chess piece on this board for you guys.
This is I guess you could call him the human Rubik's Cube, right? You could just mold him, put him, there's Gavin, we're good. We're going to roll with him. Again, the kid is just dynamite. He's going to give you everything. Wherever we put him, he's going to give you 150%. So we're not worried about Gavin at all. And, again, kudos to him for just taking news right on the chin. No problem, Coach. Let's move. Let's go. So.
And you will see our interview with Charles Clark on the Underground Sports Philadelphia social media pages. Brought to you by Allen Associates. Big thank you to them for sponsoring Guzman's Gridiron. If you're looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. And whether you're part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. And you can now easily learn more and access their services by visiting their brand new website, ALLENASSOC.com. It'll be linked in the description, both on audio and on YouTube. So join the family and let Allen Associates help you secure your future. You can also contact them by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. Big thank you to Allen Associates for sponsoring Guzman's Gridiron and our player of the game interviews. Talk about the environment last night. Another game before school starts. Electric as ever. The band, the cheerleaders, the stands packed once again. Gittone Stadium, like we said, is the place to be on Friday nights.
Thank you to the community of Vineland for showing love to our kids. I can't say enough. I mean, that's how we come out, and that's how we rally behind our kids, so our kids stay focused in their pursuits, man. We gotta, we can't just talk about, we're about the kids of Vineland or whatever town you represent. All right, be about it. Don't just say it. And again, kids see through glass, so be genuine. So I respect and I thank all the people that came and supported our kids. Thank you. Thank you to the band. Incredible. Our band is incredible.
Drumline was back.
Yes, 100%. Thank you to our cheerleaders. They do a great job. Their coaching staff does a great job. So kudos to them. Color guard. We got a lot of pieces that are supporting us as a community. So thank you to all of you. Thank you.
And the band hasn't even hit their field show yet.
No. They're in there.
They're
quietly
waiting.
lurking. There's so many
like
good
we said,
things.
they're lurking in the upside down, ready to come out. I'm hearing potentially this coming week
Special
they
stuff.
could be on the field. So you
Trick or
got to come to
treat.
Gittone Stadium to see that
Trick or
one.
treat.
Very excited for that. Shout
Absolutely.
out to Justin Feliciano, a good friend of mine, is the director of the band and
Great people.
has done a phenomenal
Great
job with
people.
them since taking over.
Mm-hmm.
But the environment is just unbelievable. Like, we hear it in the booth. It shakes the booth to an extent, and especially last night when you have as many scoring plays. That home field advantage, especially when school starts and more people are back in the flow, and it's like, hey, come out to the game. Mm-hmm. How exciting is that going to be, especially like we talked about where there are so many home games in this first stretch of the season?
It's awesome. And it's only going to get better, as you said. Once we get back in school, then that word of mouth is going to spread, and we're going to get a lot more people in there. So the kids are really, really enjoying that when our crowd is behind them like that. Also, Kyle, I want to say, just so the people of Vineland know, as long as blitz side of the little league football or 3rd Street side, as long as you wear your jersey, all right, you're free at every home game. Cheerleaders also, you wear your cheerleading outfit for both sides, blitz or 3rd Street. You're also welcome free at every home game. But adults have to pay. I'm sorry. Adults at the
And
bank.
accompany your kids,
And,
too.
and accompany kids.
Yeah, I mean, the environment at Gittone is just going to be through the roof.
Absolutely.
Like it already is.
Absolutely.
Talk about it in a win, though. You know, to feel that behind you guys as you continue putting points on the board last night, and then clock hits 0 and having everybody behind you. You get your first winning newspaper interview as well.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience from the coaching aspect and doing, you know, the after the field dynamics type of stuff in a winning cause.
You know, as the time started to, you know, wind down, and I remember I took my headset off. I gave him to Mr. Joe, and I looked at the crowd, you know, and it's kind of like a surreal moment where you just I was left in an island by myself, like, wow, this is awesome that they're here for our kids, man. They're here for our kids, and it's very nice to see that, man, because again, you know, us as a staff, we can care less. You don't want to, you know, put us on the I don't care about that. But these kids deserve, you know, their kudos, man. So, again, I thank all of you guys for showing up for our kids.
Talk about, you know, he's here tonight. Talk about Farva.
Mr.
Patrick Gilbert. We love a new nickname.
That was a situation. Listen, that man is not going to ever forget that moment. I'm telling you right now.
I don't think I've seen Ryan Shelton jump that high.
No.
Even when he was in high school. The excitement he had when he delivered the now nickname of Patrick Gilbert to NJ.com was unbelievable. He looked like a cat jumping in the air.
I'm going to just put it out there. Yeah, Mr. Shelton, Ryan Shelton, dubbed him. Yeah,
he's Robin and he's the Joker.
But I'll tell you what, you know, it's all in fun. You know, Gilbert knows, he knows, Patrick knows. So, you know, again, the dynamics within our staff and the kids, it's special. It's special, and the kids know that. Their parents know that. So, again, you know, it's something that you could put in your scrapbook. You know what I mean? I told him, just get it ready.
Laminate
you
that
laminate
bad
it.
boy.
I told him.
Put it on the fridge.
It can always be, and you could use it as two-way go. See, if you need a little bit of push in the game and it kind of rubbed you the wrong way, you just have it up on your locker room material. Like, yeah, coach, okay, we're gonna see. So no, but again, kudos to Patrick. He had an awesome game beginning to end. So I poke fun at him, but he's one of our top linemen, as you see. I mean, week in and week out. So kudos to him.
Was it just us in the booth, or did it also feel, with the running clock, obviously with what the score was that the fastest second half of football that you've ever experienced?
I mean, in a blink of an eye, it was over.
Done.
It was like, I was like, these guys really want to get home. You know, these guys really want to go. But you know what? I understand. You know, once it gets to that point, and we're not that type of team that's gonna, you know, call a timeout with 2 seconds and no. Okay, we're gonna win with class. We're gonna lose with class. It just so happened that we were firing on all cylinders, whether we had, you know, youngsters, even like, I don't know if you noticed, but on defense with Zach Zavis, right? I mean, he gets out there, he does his job. I mean, smart as a whip, picks up on the defense, like, and just makes plays. He's making plays, you know, so, and he's a youngin'. So, you know, kudos to him, too, going out there and making some plays for us, you know, on call.
Somebody else who made a play last night, we touched on it a little bit with the fumble recovery. Saquon Anderson has turned into an early season star. We've talked about him the last 2 weeks now. You brought him up, I'm pretty sure, in the first episode as somebody to keep an eye on. Saquon Anderson, he's a playmaker, everybody.
Listen, Quan is the real deal. You can say what you want. Film doesn't lie. The man has his position locked in every single game. He showed it on 7-on-7. He showed it in every preseason, you know, matchup we had. And now he's just displaying it in a level that is like, it's a wow moment, you know, that he's having. And kudos to him and all his hard work.
So we're going to take a quick break if you're watching on YouTube or listening on audio for a word from our sponsor. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Guzman's Gridiron, live from the Double Eagle, brought to you by Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Red and Gray Gridiron Group. This episode of Guzman's Gridiron is brought to you proudly by Allen Associates.
And if you're looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belts, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. Whether you're part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Our family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can now easily learn more and access our services by visiting our brand new website, AllenAssoc.com. That's ALLENASSOC.com. Link is also in the description of this episode. So join the family and let us help you secure your future. Contact Allen Associates today by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. We want to thank Allen Associates for being a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron, the official Vineland High School football coaches show on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. Now, let's get back to the show.
All right. Let's keep pushing on Quan, because
Go right
just
ahead. I have no
an
problem.
impressive display last night. You know, the turnover happens. You got Bridgeton ends up in their best field position of the game. Very next play, fumble. He's on the ground fighting for the ball. Just talking about his grit and, you know, the tenacity and what he's brought to this defense, and as an early season kind of playmaker that teams are going to have to start looking out for him all over the field.
Saquon is one of those quiet leaders. You know, he comes in, he gets his job done, and come game day, he's going to have his hard hat on. He's ready to play. I mean, that we have zero worries about that. He's an opportunistic player, as you see. You know, he's going to go ahead and all the fundamentals he gets taught, he brings to light come game day. Whether it's trying to strip the ball. Every time you see him making a tackle, it's not just the tackle. He's making sure that he ensures that tackle, but he's ripping, he's punching at the ball. Okay, so he's doing all these little things that are trying to get us the ball back, always on every play. So, again, well played, Saquon Anderson, and he's going to have one of those years, I promise you.
And just talk about last night, the collective team effort to kind of keep poise, keep, you know, in line in a county rivalry. You know some players on the other team, and things can get out of hand, especially in a lopsided game. Just talk about the character and the poise of everybody last night across the board.
I kept on reminding my kids, we need every single one of you. All our coaching staff, you know, during the week, we make sure that we remind the kids, we need every single one of you, okay? In order for us to complete all the tasks that we've set forth for, you know, each other, we need everybody. No stupid penalties, and again, keep your mouths shut. This is the time where all the mudslinging starts to go on. So, you know, that second half, especially when a team's down that much. So we have to stay the course, we told them. They stayed the course. They kept their head. So now they're starting to get the mental portion, you know, and we really need to be, you know, focused in on our efforts come this week as well.
You know, Pritchett's a huge body on that Bridgeton offense. You know, he's their star, playing running back, his natural position, as opposed to last year when he was kind of thrown into the quarterback spot. Talk about this defense and just being able to stop somebody his size with what seemed like ease. You know, anytime he had the rock, it was 4 or 5 guys just swarming him, making sure that he wasn't busting through tackles. And I don't know if he gained any more than 5 yards on any single carry last night.
Again, kudos to our defensive staff. You know, Coach Smith, Coach Shelton, Coach Ecker, that trio of guys with the information sharing that they do on game days is I mean, excellent, absolutely excellent. And then, you know, during practice, the way that Coach Smith sets up each individual portion of his practice, it's all geared towards making each individual component of the defense that much better. So again, whether it's our defensive coordinator or our offensive coordinator and Coach Hendricks, they break down every single composite of the plays and or the sets that we're going to run. And I'll tell you what, they do a dynamic job there. I mean, it's incredible how they piece everything together and, again, display that come game day on Friday under the lights.
You know, when you brought up Batman and Robin, I thought you were talking about Coach Smith, Coach Hendricks. Coach Hendricks might be his own version of Batman with this. We'll have to figure out which Batman each coach is and give them their own. Coach Hendricks last night with this offense. Talk about, you know, kind of just being able to let his guys play, but also putting them in the position to succeed last night as well with the, you know, overarching success with the running backs. But just, you know, week over week, him taking over this offense with a new role as opposed to what he was last year. Talk about his progression as an offensive coordinator so far.
I can't say enough about that, man. To go ahead and take on a venture that he really wasn't as comfortable as a defensive guy, taking it over and doing what he's done with, you know, Mike Wimbish, you know, our wide receivers DB coach, with, you know, Chris Gilbert. Okay, these guys spent time together, you know, drawing up these plays and making them fit our kids. Okay, the truth be told, that's how it works. Okay, again, I'm a no-nonsense type of guy. The credit goes to these guys offensively because they've built a dynamic for our kids to utilize that it's easily understandable and easily applicable. So, again, my hats go off to my coaching staff. They're great, man. Period.
You know, last night after the game, everybody huddled up. I love the message that you delivered where, yes, it's a win. Enjoy it, but don't be satisfied with it. I love that delivery because it is one of those things where not every team is going to relish in a win like that and then be able to move forward and kind of, you know, that's in the past now. We got to focus on the next opponent. Talk about that post-game message that you delivered after your first win and to keep everybody kind of level-headed even after a victory for you guys.
Again, that's a major, you know, theme that goes on in our coaching staff as well. We stress that, you know, we cannot be satisfied. And it doesn't matter what team we're facing. Every week we have to learn from the previous week and get better, fine-tune things, make each other streamline so that way going into the, you know, money games, we can make sure that we have a spot in that playoff round, if you will. So
now I do have to ask a fun question.
Go ahead.
My booth partner, Rich Scarpa, late in the game, sent you a text message.
Okay. And I didn't even check it. So
okay, that's
bring
the
it
answer,
out.
Rich.
Bring
he
it out,
texted
Rich.
you to see if you could hand the ball off to Ryan Carter, who was blocking the entire night in front of all those running backs. He said, give him one. He wanted to know if you had gotten that because then that final score, we couldn't tell who got into the end zone per se.
Right,
Do you know if they credited that touchdown to Ryan? And talk about Ryan's blocking, you know, as that lead back in front of every running back last night.
Listen, Ryan Carter is just getting better and better each game. He's taken on new roles this year. He's had no problem in doing it, both defensively. I mean, that's another kid that's not off the field. He's on every special teams. He's on defense. He's on offense. Selfless. The word, you know, the word of the day is selfless. These kids are selfless. You saw it. He was blocking every play. No worries. He didn't, you know, no, coach, can I get the ball? No. These kids are going to do whatever it takes to win the game. And kudos to you know, Mr. Carter. Ryan is a great player, tough-nosed kid, gives us everything he has. And I can't say enough about that kid. He did his job beyond yesterday and beyond. So you did a great job, Ryan. Great job. Proud of you.
One other player I want to touch on before we move forward to Clearview. Talking about Note Cruz. This kid is all over the field. Making plays.
I mean,
if number 8's not in your sight of vision, you're not paying attention to the game because he's everywhere.
Seems like that number is notorious with just good linebackers at Vineland. I mean, Naheem Anderson. Yes. Dog in the room, anywhere. And now Noah just getting into his own now. I mean, he's making plays. He's and not only I told him this, okay? You know, when I was younger in college in New Jersey, I played linebacker, but Smith told him. He played at the highest level, okay, linebacker. He's a sideline-to-sideline linebacker now. Coach Shelton tells him the same thing.
Talking about another dog who played linebacker for this team.
I mean, just again, we have the dogs are here in Vineland. We have plenty of players here. we stay together, Vineland can be phenomenal. We can move mountains together. But again, it's up to the kids to buy into, wanting to stay together to build something together. We have the players. That's bar none. So kudos to Noah. What a game, and he's only getting better and better each game. So,
and that's been evident, I think, in these first 2 games too. Like the culture of this team, just internally in the locker room. These kids are playing for each other. Where
Absolutely.
in years past, there'd be moments where it's like, "Come on, guys, pick it up. Like you're better than this." This year, through 2 games, it's a collective unit. Whoever's on the field, offense, defense, special teams, they're playing like it's like Voltron almost. Like they're all just coming together
forming as one.
Together.
Absolutely, forming as one. That's a great analogy. Even though it might be out there, yes, it might not know who Voltron is, but
if you know who Voltron is and you're watching this on Wednesday, comment in the YouTube comment section.
That's my favorite. I'll be honest, that was my favorite cartoon when I was growing
best.
up. I mean, come on, man, the Black Line. Let's go. Anyway, so no, but. In all honesty, these kids are definitely, coming together. And again, if we keep meshing every week, watch out come postseason. Watch out, because these kids might be able to do some special things and open up more eyes and make believers out of these non-believers in their own community.
How much confidence do you think a win like this instills in this group, to go out and dominate in a fashion that they did, get a win against a county rival, a win at home, and getting the first win of the season early on? How much of a weight off the shoulders of these players is it? How much of a weight for your coaching staff and you guys is it to kind of be like, okay, win number 1, check, let's move forward? How much of a just nice breath of fresh air is that?
First of all, we had as a coaching staff nothing but respect for the Bridgeton Bulldogs and their staff. Their kids played tough. They played hard. So good luck to them moving forward. But as far as this building, something of an air going into this upcoming week, you might, some people might see it as, but you were, let's keep it honest, right? You were supposed to do this to this team. Okay, but we not only did this to this team, but we did it and executed on every phase of the game against this team. So, again, and we utilized the whole array of different players in this game. So it was something to be had there that it wasn't just starters that were winning. It was second-string guys, third-string guys that were getting some plays also in there. So it was a team collective, man, a team collective. So very proud of our kids.
You got Clearview coming in this week. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but, to have film now on multiple guys at multiple positions, you guys can kind of utilize that as well to your advantage, where it's like these teams coming in, they don't necessarily know who you're going to throw out there again. How much of a fun little, trick up your sleeve is that to know now you have guys who can execute at the varsity level and you can, platoon them out there however you see fit against upcoming opponents?
First off, respect to Coach Duncan and the Clearview, football team and their staff. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I actually talked to him today, and I'm pretty good determiner of character. He's a good dude. So, good luck to him in the season. But, yeah, I can tell you this. We're going to go and make sure that we utilize these things that we've kind of come up with as we've gone through the season to go ahead and make sure that we display it come this Friday in its totality. Like, I know, again, I'm not going to harp on it, but – yeah, people say, we should have beat this team. It's going to get hard on the stretch. Clearview's not going to be no lax game at all.
Saw that last year.
Fundamentally sound, right or wrong, okay? They're going to do everything right, all the little things. So it's going to be a point where we've got to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to execute X's and O's against this team and moving forward, because the games are not going to get any easier at all.
And, I mean, in a game like this, we touched on it again earlier, where the discipline was top-notch for you guys. There was very few penalties, some early on, but very few. How much of that, in a game like this, to carry over to a Clearview that is going to be very disciplined? They're going to be, very by the book. They're not going to give up a lot of stupid penalties on their end. How valuable is that to know that, like, hey, even in a blowout, we kept it pretty cool. we can do that against a team that's going to be pristine and buttoned up to the nines.
Yes. What's going to happen is now we've built that foundation where we know even when we're up, we can keep our discipline going all the way through the stretch and not get too high, not get too low. So it's definitely going to play into this week. We cannot make any mental errors against this team. They will make you pay in a big way. So, again, our staff will have our kids ready to play. Regardless, rain or shine, we're going to come to play come Friday under the lights.
Luckily, if it is rain or shine, we got that turf. Last year we were playing on that grass, the lone game that you guys played on grass last year. How much of an advantage, we talk about the home field advantage with the crowd and everything, but to be able to play and practice on your own field and knowing this is going to be the game day surface. This is where we're playing. This is where we can get comfortable now. How much of an advantage is that for you guys? And then, Clearview coming in, they practice on grass. It's a different surface that they're going to be playing on game day.
Absolutely. We take total advantage of that. Being so we have, the ability to go on grass or on turf, that is such a plus. But we will be getting our time, on our turf and our home field and, having that, ability to go ahead and play there, it just adds more to them little things. The detail is big because, as well as I do on grass, it gives.
Mm-hmm.
On turf, once you stick your foot in the turf, you're in there, okay? So it's a totally different feel. And some teams just, once they get on turf, they play a lot different if they're not already accustomed to that
Right.
feel.
And, this is going to be the first game, too, where school's in session.
Yep.
Talking about, the preparation for the school year and being dialed in and kind of getting back to a routine that has been different from these last two games where it's still been summer vacation, but
Right.
dialing in and, staying as well as on-field smart, but also book smart to start the year.
So a thing that I made my kids understand even from the very beginning as a D-line coach is, you're a student athlete. It's not the other way around. You're not an athlete student, right? You're not going in. You're not getting paid. Your pay is what? The books. The books is your pay so that you can go ahead and go on to hopefully be whatever in your respective field that you choose. So our kids understand that. Without the grades, they understand that these scouts want nothing to do with them. You don't have the grades. They'll give me my handshake. Hey, coach, thanks. But they move on to a kid that has good grades and just about the same talent level or even better. So, again, grades is big. It's always a focal point for all of our kids. And if they don't have the grades, that's when other modalities might come into play where we'll get them the tutoring they need, within our Vineland High School facilities. So there's always mechanisms in place for them to go ahead and achieve, success within the classroom.
And how key is the routine going to be this week, kind of setting yourself up for success going into this game day while also having classes every day, then after classes, practice right after school. How much of that routine and getting accustomed to that routine is going to come into play, especially this week? As the year goes on, it'll get a lot more easier for them to get into that groove. But this week especially, where it is kind of coming out of that summer vacation mindset and
Right.
going into that first full week of school.
I think it's, it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, right, for the kids, even for the staff, to get them to kind of like, all right, we know you're excited going back to school and you're meeting with your friends, but we got to focus in. Come 2:45, we're locked in on what we got to do at the, task at hand till 6 o'clock when the late buses come. So they know that, we know that, and we've got to go ahead and meet that challenge head on too as a staff and make sure that we stay on top of our kids in a positive way like we have been. That's all. And we'll keep this train on the tracks.
And how much has that been preached on from TD and from Dara to, kind of get your schedules adjusted and be focused not only during the day, but then also knowing that it's going to be a much longer schedule of a day for you going from 7:23 or whenever that first bell rings all the way to say it's almost a 12-hour day.
Yeah. Again, I can't say enough for our trainers, TD, Miss Dara, they do an excellent job with our kids. They're they're full of knowledge and they're such a resource for our kids. Again, our nurses, Miss Nicole, Miss Lauren, Miss Monica, just Miss Greta Broom also. Like, we have great people in our staff ready for our kids at the ready, you know. So kudos to them and what they do for our kids, man. But I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about them. They just keep, our kids abreast of everything they need, from their physical to, going ahead and having these time management skills throughout the day, to better their bodies. So hats off to them.
Clearview coming in this week, third straight home game. Different type of team, like we mentioned. They're very disciplined. They're very by the book. They're going to give you their best every single time out there. From what you remember from last season's matchup where you guys did, muster up that comeback. You had the big play from Xavier Diaz in there as well. I'm sure he remembers that and wants to double down on that this year just as much as he did last year. Talk to me about this matchup in particular, where it is now 2 games under your guys' belts and you're getting a crack at a very good Clearview team.
When it comes to that kid that you just said, Xavier's going to meet the challenge. He just is. I want to say the teams understand that. You know what I mean? I want to say that Clearview definitely understands that. So again, he's going to know that also, and we're going to just have to adjust accordingly to how they might attack us. But again, we're going to stick to our fundamentals. We're going to stick to our basics. And, come Friday, we're going to see who's going to make the most mistakes. Whoever makes the most mistakes is definitely, in my opinion, probably going to wind up with the losing side of the ball.
And I think something to touch on, too, in these first 2 games, you mentioned it last week, he hasn't even fully been unlocked yet. Didn't have to be unlocked in this game. Tank Powell. He's just the nice little lock and key, just waiting to be unleashed.
He's brooding.
I'm sure he's just foaming at the mouth, getting ready to showcase his talents when the time comes. Talk to me about just the excitement of when the time comes that you're going to be able to unleash the hound that is Tank Powell.
Tank, again, love that boy. He's a special kid, man. Does everything right. He's the kid that you want to just invite over just because. Hey, Tank, just come over, man. Come over for some food, chill out. You know what I mean? He's a good kid, man, and he does whatever you need and whatever we ask, whether it's blocking. And you saw he was maybe not as much involved in the passing game, but again, a selfless kid. He blocked the whole game for his partners, for his teammates. So that says a lot. That says a lot. The body language, always positive, always. So with kids like that, it makes our job so much easier. You understand? Like our staff is just it's from one drill or one section of practice to the other, seamless, just on and on, all the way through 8 o'clock. Sometimes I stretch a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I might go to 8:10. Okay, but they know that I don't. I have no ill will towards them. It's all to make us better and have us conditioned for that fourth quarter overtime situation, if you will.
And I mean, when you have a performance like you did against Bridgeton, where it is very run heavy, teams haven't seen Tank Powell. They haven't seen a Mason Afanador in this offense. They haven't seen Xavier on the offensive side of the ball really showcase what they can do with the ball in their hand. I'm sure that makes Coach Hendricks pretty giddy to know that when the time comes, and those 3 in particular, you throw in, Schwed as well in the slot, when the ball's in their hand, nobody's going to know what to expect.
Listen, we have, again, Coach Mike Wimbish has done an excellent job with the wide receivers and DB core. We've got a lot of bullets left in the chamber. A lot, and it's an awesome feeling because we haven't even, I keep saying it, but we really haven't scratched the surface, not only within our players, but the playbook. We haven't even scratched the surface of the playbook yet and unleashed it. So as the weeks go by and as we add these bits and pieces to the realm of our offense and our defense as well, there's some tricks there too. It's going to get fun, man.
We're just in chapter 1.
Yeah.
Probably just page 1 of chapter 1.
This is a long story, man. This isn't, a story that you're going to go ahead and just write overnight. It's got some time left into it. So let's let this thing, run its course, and we're going to write a nice little novel when it's said and done.
And how cool was it to kind of kick back to the Bridgeton game too? You get that interview with NJ.com. It's been a couple years where consistently the traditional media, they've been sent to other places to go cover other teams. To have that traditional media back at home, back at Gittone Stadium, these wins keep piling up too. I'm sure we're gonna be getting phone calls from our good pal Tom McGurk to come on out to Gittone Stadium, for Mark Tribble to come take his hat off and come watch the Fighting Clan play. Josh Friedman, to build that back up and make it so that Vineland is a destination for that Friday Night Lights coverage.
Right.
How fun is that going to be? And just to have, NJ.com there as well as our own, Channel 9 broadcast.
Tom, Josh, Patrick, all those guys, I have nothing but respect for them. You know what I mean? Love those dudes. They do a great job covering our kids in a positive way. Not to mention they do a great job covering the kids of South Jersey in a positive way. So can't say enough about those guys and what they do on the daily for our kids.
Let's talk about, just the community aspect a little bit. Our boy Jamil Demby home this weekend doing his rare customs event as well. Shout out to them. They do a phenomenal job with just
Awesome
the
customs,
charity
yep.
events and everything.
Absolutely.
They got the Tyrene Powell shirts available. Go check them out. They do
They did a great
fantastic
job.
work.
Great job. Great job.
Just talk about that community aspect too. And, I'm sure this entire team saw Jamil's in town supporting, the Vineland Midget Football League and their car wash today and then the Rare Cause Cleats event. Talk about that community aspect and, just seeing that continue to build and build throughout Vineland.
Jamil Demby is a special man. Ever since he was, a high school kid, I knew he was different, and different in such a good way. He always gives back. Even back then, this isn't his first hurrah with, giving back to the kids and all. He's been doing this since high school, man. Okay? Truth be told. So, love that man. He's a family man. He takes care of his family. He does all the right things, man. What a person to be a mentor to kids of his own community. This is his home right here, Vineland. He knows it. He's never forgot it. He's always given back, whether it's charity events or just helping kids in general. If they ask him, hey, he'll never turn a kid away.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that dude. So shout out to him, man. I mean, shout out to him, shout out to Pop, shout out to all of them. They just don't forget where they come from. They're always
look at your
back.
coaching staff.
Yeah, they don't look. Yeah, they from Ryan to T.O., to Marcelino, Lucas Nelson. That's another guy that gets lost in the sauce, right? He played for Vineland,
Mm-hmm.
okay? He played for 3rd Street. He played for he played, man, and now he's giving back. That's special. That is special. He's giving back to the same kids that reminded him of him when he was little, So, again, kudos to Coach Nelson and the guys on staff that kept it here in Vineland, and they're doing for the kids of Vineland. So, again, I can't say enough about my staff, Kyle. I'm telling you, I have the greatest staff to be a part of, and I've been a part of the greatest staffs, from Russo to Schifalali. Coach Schiff is awesome. You know what I mean? Awesome line coach also, Coach Volpe. I've been surrounded by great dudes, man, and it's been nice to be a part of them. They're always going to be family. All them guys, always.
Clearview coming in. Talk to me about the matchup. What do you expect from what you've seen the last 2 weeks from your team, knowing what you know about Clearview going into this game, and what the expectation is now that there is a win under the belt, knowing that winning mentality is there. They know how to win as a team. What's the expectation for Clearview?
Expectation for Clearview is, again, we've got to go in, dot our I's, cross our T's, make sure we pay attention to the fine details that our offensive coordinator and Coach Hendricks, our defensive coordinator and Coach Smith are coming up with their respective units of their individual coaching staffs within the offense and defense. So as long as we can go ahead, formulate our plan, execute it to a T, I feel really good about our kids. We just have to keep that mentality of start fast, end fast. We've got to keep it going. We're going to be the ones doing the punching first and not just waiting till the later rounds to wake up. Can't happen that way. Not against the teams that we're facing as the weeks progress.
Who's somebody or somebodies that you want to see continue to step their game up, seeing what they've done the last 2 weeks? Who are some players that you and the staff are kind of keeping an eye on and saying, hey, we know you can do more?
I'll tell you what, it's interesting because I want to see a few players kind of like really start to come into their own. Of course, Tank, I'm waiting on that, and it'll come.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, he understands our dynamic and what we're doing, so when it's his time, it'll be his time. I'm looking to see more out of Nazir this week. He's shown a little flash, right? So hopefully he keeps that going. The running back room in its totality is going to go ahead and do its thing overall, but I want to really keep an eye on that kid. Prince as well. He's kind of like an outlier, right? So he gives you a little bit of everybody, where he hits the hole now, but he's still a big-bodied kid where he can go ahead and take you for a little ride, if you will. So I want to get, eyes there. Also, the youngins we put into towards the end of the game, and Zach Zavis, I would love to see him build a little bit, right? Again, sharp as a whip. This kid, listen, I call him little J.J. Watt for a reason. He might just be. This is on air, right?
There it is.
Little J.J. Watt, man. I'm telling you, he's good. He is good. So defensively, he adds a little bit of something different to the D-line. So I'm very proud of him. And he's a young and sophomore, but he's earning. Everybody's earning their spot, even Jacob Martinez, right? He earned his way onto that field, onto, being at the helm. And he still knows that he has to earn the respect of his O-lineman.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's a process, and it's not going to be something overnight. Our O-linemen are set in their ways, right? They have, their mechanics and their views. So, that mesh has to totally happen. It's happening, but when it happens,
look out.
wow, man. I can't wait. I can't wait till it all molds into this beautiful, work of art so that our kids really open up the eyes of those that are seeing them play.
And, coming out of this Bridgeton game, it seemed for the most part everybody came out pretty unscathed for the most part that you can in a football game. Injury list, everything looking pretty solid going
clean.
into Clearview.
I'm sure people were like, oh, why'd Charles come out? I even heard it in the stands. I heard people yelling, why are you taking him out of the game? A, we know our kids, okay? And B, our kids are first, not no one else. Put them back. They're not robots, okay? So let's get that straight. They're not robots. So if us as a coaching staff feel like, you know what, let's give them a break. We have other horses in the stable.
As you saw.
We're okay. And the selflessness is throughout the whole team. So he didn't have a problem. Hey, TD and Miss Dara came to me. They let me know, it might behoove you to go ahead and just take this quarter off, okay? So we can have you on the later stretches, right? No problem, Coach. All right. These kids are selfless, so kudos to him for, being selfless on that end.
And I talked to him after the game, and he was happy as a clam.
Yeah,
he
problem.
was thrilled. He gave credit to every running back out there. And
his line.
The line,
he
everything.
Gave credit to the line, so, again, kudos to the line. They did phenomenal.
This week upcoming, obviously, we got the alumni that will be, conjuring up the entire list of everybody who's playing at the next level. But obviously headlined by Tyreen Powell and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They got their first game upcoming, and we mentioned last week he's on Butkus Award, watch lists and everything. So we'll be keeping an eye on him, and we want to wish, all of our alumni that are playing at the next level the best of luck in their games this week.
Absolutely.
But
Good luck, guys.
Let's talk about Tyreen a little bit here in the alumni corner.
Let's talk about him.
Butkus Award nominee, early season watch list, and how he's progressed at the collegiate level. And, he stayed home, did his announcement and everything when he was ready to commit to Rutgers. We had Coach Schiano flying in on the chopper, ready to come through. And
that just is, it's incredible. Like, every time that I think about that he just it landed right in our backyard. It's like the suit. To the nines, he just comes out, and then there he is, But, again, Tyreen, wow. Just a stand-up dude. They don't make him like him anymore. Again, a selfless, person, teammate. He does anything for the team to go ahead and get a win. And that ability for him, you want to talk about another, type of transformer, if you will, right? For him to be able to, go from, okay, 1 minute you're a wide receiver. Next minute, you're the quarterback at high school. Next minute, oh, wait, you're not either. You're on defense, you're a free safety. No, you're going to be a linebacker. No problem. He just fits in, man. And he plays at such a high level that, again, if you want to win, you want a guy like Tyreen Powell on your team. Smart, and has the ability to not only make incredible plays, but make game-changing plays. So, Tyreen, man, good luck tomorrow. Do your thing. I know you're going to do great things. You're going to be and listen, please secure that Buckus Award. Do it, because I know you can. Bring it right back, please.
We got to put it next to the 2 Lombardis that we got in the trophy case.
Yes, 100%. Good luck.
And when college football is coming around, that obviously brings up the time that recruits are going to be coming through.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How much of that are you looking forward to for this senior class to have those recruits coming in and talking to this wildly talented senior group that you have?
I'm looking forward to that, like today, to be honest. If it could all happen, today I'd be happy with it, because we have the kids. We just have the kids. They're great. I don't worry about their grades. These kids are just good kids, man. They complete all their tasks on the field for us too. They are yes sir, no sir type of individuals. They're coachable. They got all the intangibles to be great at whatever level they play at. They'll be able to be great at their respective level of play. So again, we're working to go ahead and send our seniors out on a high note. That's what I ultimately want, for them to be sent out on a high note. So we're rearing to go for this Friday, Kyle.
And obviously we don't want the seniors to leave yet, because we got some big games on the horizon that we're going to need them for. Coach, your final thoughts for the people at home listening and watching going into Clearview, and what they should expect this week at Gittone Stadium.
Again, can't thank you guys enough for coming and supporting your kids. Remember, this is your community. It takes us, to raise the village. You know what I mean? We got to work together. So please keep doing what you do. And you're going to expect, hard-nosed kids, violent kids. They're coming with their hard hats to work, selfless, and ready to represent for not only, their respective school of Vineland, but the community of Vineland and Cumberland County as a whole. So we're going to be fun to watch. Stay tuned.
It's going to be Vineland hosting Clearview this Friday night. Come on out to Gittone Stadium. Big thank you to Robbie Bono and the Double Eagle for having us.
Thank you, Robbie.
Every Monday night from here on out, live from the Double Eagle. No switch-ups from here on out. It's going to be very fun on Mondays, recapping every single game. So come on out and watch the show live. You can join Farva and Colin Greif out here too. And
they will be in attendance. They will be in attendance. It's an incredible thing. Kudos to my guys again, man. They deserve this big win. They did it, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys on Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. Big thank you to the Double Eagle. Big thank you to Allen Associates, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast feed. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia on your podcast app of choice, Apple, Spotify. Be sure to subscribe. Leave a 5-star review. Let us know you're coming to the feed for this show, because we will look through the reviews as well on 100%. The show. And be sure to subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get Guzman's Gridiron every single Wednesday night in video form. It's a premiere. You can watch it like it's scheduled television. It's very fun. We're in the comments section as well, so you can live chat with us. So go subscribe so you can tune into the show if you can't make it out on Monday nights here at the Double Eagle. But, Coach, congratulations again on win number 1. Not the last, of course, because we've got some big games on deck that we'll be talking about, big wins. But this has been another episode of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Red and Gray Gridiron Group. Coach Goose, I'm Kyle Bennett. We will see you guys Friday night at Gittone Stadium and Monday night to recap, hopefully, another win against Clearview.
Come out.